And here is a remarkable imitation of camouflage from a predator. Praying mantis. Can't find it. Here it is.
One of the most famous creatures to come from Madagascar is the chameleon. Now, over 90% of chameleon species are found on Madagascar, which suggests that they first evolved around the time when India was splitting from Africa to create the island of Madagascar, which was around 100 million years ago. There were two species that I encountered on this expedition, Furcifer angeli and Furcifer ustuleti. It's commonly thought that chameleons will change colour to blend with their surroundings. While there is some camouflage element to their patterns, current research is showing that they actually change their colour for different reasons, such as mood. For example, when a territorial rival encounters another chameleon, they will try to change colour to a much darker, threatening colour. The actual physical process of this change comes from crystalline structures within the skin of the chameleon. Rather than being pigment-based, the colour of a chameleon is refractive. And when it needs to change colour, the chameleon will rotate these crystalline structures within their skin to alter the angle of light and therefore produce a new colour. Madagascar has its fair share of geckos. From this creature here, which is quite ubiquitous, Phelsuma kochai, to the somewhat elusive species here, Uroplatus henkeli, which one might argue is even better camouflaged than a chameleon. The folds in the skin allow for them to hide by pressing themselves against trees so that they can blend seamlessly with the bark, and even their eyes are camouflaged to meet the dappled patterns of the trees. A rather odd behavioural trait shown by the Uroplatus is the way that it moves through the forest. Rather than having to scurry between trees as one would normally imagine a gecko doing, these geckos actually leap from tree to tree in search of prey, likely ants and termites. The reptile population of Madagascar doesn't just consist of lizards. Of course, there are plenty of snakes there that feed on the lizards, the frogs and the small mammals of Madagascar. And one example of island gigantism found on Madagascar is that of the hognose snake. In most parts of the world they're quite small and easy to catch, whereas in Madagascar they can very easily reach lengths upwards of a metre. The hognose in this clip has been measured, microchipped and dusted in ultraviolet powder. The powder will be used later that night to track the movements of the hognose snake in order to determine where their territories and preferred hunting areas are. Snakes are notoriously known as predatory reptiles, but on Madagascar they are hardly the biggest. The Nile crocodile is found across Africa, including Madagascar, despite its common name indicating endemism to a single river. Mostly preying on the fish in the rivers and lakes of Madagascar, these enormous reptiles can be surprisingly hard to spot given their size. And given their slow metabolism, they can easily go for a month without eating. During the wet season, those living in lakes may find it essential to have to move along to pastures new, so these enormous creatures would have to trudge through the wet forests of Madagascar searching for new rivers or lakes to hunt in. Crocodiles are in a group of reptiles called the archosaurs, which also include the extinct pterosaurs and the dinosaurs. But as we all know, the dinosaurs gave rise to the birds. One such bird that lives in Madagascar is this, the crested kua. It survives on an omnivorous diet of insects, fruits, nuts, seeds, and sometimes even lizards. Given the power of flight, birds can of course easily traverse into these island environments. As you can see here, even the kingfisher has made it to Madagascar, and their family extends as far as Australia with the kookaburra. There was a flightless bird on Madagascar. As part of the Paleognathed clade, Aepyornis bears its closest relations to ostriches, emus and kiwis. But this extinct bird was certainly much larger than its modern counterparts. Whether it was the tallest bird ever is unknown due to competition from New Zealand's moa, but it was certainly the heaviest bird to have ever lived. But why is Aepyornis extinct? Because Madagascar is internationally renowned for its extraordinary wildlife, it can be easy to forget that approximately 90% of its natural habitats have been lost due to human interference. The youngest remains of Aepyornis date to around 400 years ago. Whether it disappeared due to the loss of the forests of Madagascar, or hunting or the poaching of eggs, is a question that is yet to be conclusively answered. But the general consensus is that it is down to human interference that led to the extinction of this magnificent bird. I'd like to thank Operation Wallacea, without whom this expedition would not have been possible. When it comes to the things Madagascar is known for, there is one animal with a reputation that eclipses all others on Madagascar, which we will most certainly see in the next video.